Day 2, the vlogging, video diaries, whatever this is. Alright, so I guess touching on yesterday and why goals worked in the past, or why they didn't more so, or when they stop, when you get out of that routine. And it's going to sound crazy, but like, it was too structured. What happens is, if it's too structured, then when something else in your environment or the environment itself changes, you end up not being able to continue that routine because that routine is not used to disruptions. So it's almost like counterintuitive, or it's almost the opposite of what you would think a great routine would work like, but it actually trains you to get used to disruptions. So really what I mean by this is how to use this as an example. Before, my morning routine was like very strict to the point where I would set an alarm, and it would be 30 minutes meditation, and then the alarm would go off. Okay, next, and I'd sort of jump into it. I get the book reading done, and it's like you're sort of rushing your way through it almost, or like to a timer, and it's very precise, which has its benefits. Exercise was very much like, it's 100 of these, and I think for exercise it's great, actually. But for things like meditation and reading, has more flow to it. So to bring a bit of sense to this, yesterday, like I woke up and what did I do first? I think I exercised first, then I read later in the afternoon, then I meditated. And like this morning, I meditated first, then I've just exercised, and then I'll read later on. So like it can change. You just sort of saying to yourself, I'll get it done by the end of the day, but when will that moment happen? And yesterday, I got a moment. I was like, now's the perfect time to read, So it wasn't so like on the point, it must happen this time. And I think to make the habit work long term, you have to have that flexibility with it and actually learn the habit in this manner to make it work well. As long as you keep the rule in your head of every day I'll have reading done, meditating done, and exercise, then it will happen. Yeah, it's a completely different approach for me, and obviously I needed a different approach. Like the old structure, the old way of doing it, it didn't last. Like that's the whole thing, self-awareness around if it didn't work, how do you approach it differently and test like this new theory or new way of doing things. This is much more in the flow. It's much more intuitive and based on feeling rather than just, something so structured. So anyway, that's basically where we're at with that. Meditation's feeling great. Like after you meditate for a while, you start to feel this glow sort of inside and around you. You have to meditate for a number of years to sort of feel that. I mean, some people may feel it quickly, but I meditated a lot when I was younger, and now that I'm getting back into it, it's sort of like your level doesn't drop too much, and you can sort of, there's a muscle memory almost, like, for lack of a better term. Yeah, it's interesting how when you really tune into energy centers and you can feel them, and you can feel yourself starting to emit a certain energy, like the good feeling that you have, it's like this warmth. Like when you breathe in, it's like a glow. I'm only just getting glimpses of it, but people around you feel it. They can sense your presence. It's very powerful, and they say that you know, this energy field is like a, I forget the shape name, I'll learn more, but it can extend from your body. Like if you don't have it, it's very thin, and like things can sort of affect you and energies, but like if it's strong and around you, like those things try and come in and they have less access, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's kind of trippy to talk about because they're like, you have to have experienced it to understand it. Otherwise it just sounds like, what are you talking about? That's like made up or something. That's energy field around you, like prove it, you know. Yeah, so day 2, we're 6 minutes in. The afternoon session is great for meditation. So right now I'm not doing a double reading, double exercise, but I think what I'll slowly introduce is, well, definitely a second meditation session. Like that happens around the afternoon. It's awesome. It's really great. It just puts you back into that level. And then once that becomes a habit, I'll most likely go, okay, is there a second exercise in there? Is there another reading? Because they're all sort of happening on different levels. Like reading can be quite different. Like it's very mental. It's very up here. Is meditation's, you know, more down here, and then it goes back up. But it's like you're working from different energy centers. The physical stuff is like, it's like they're very different things, but it's a nice flow. Like you've got this, you know, meditation and reading and physical exercise. That are 3 goals that are sort of testing and working out different skill sets or energy centers. And if you do too much of all of them, you'll blow your system out. Like you'll get, yeah, it's all sounding very esoteric right now, isn't it? But it just feels like a natural thing to talk about for me right now. Like I understand this stuff. It just flows. It's like when you freestyle rap, where the words are coming from. Like you're not going, I heard that word there and now I'll repeat it here. It's just, there's an energy flowing in and it's coming out. It's like freestyle rapping. Like if you start to freestyle rap, for example, like put it on the map and trap these things I can say that you'll match it with an intellect that'll drive it home, and I'm free from the phone that I got on my own. Everybody living, everyone deliver. I can do that and you may sit back and quiver. So I'm not pre-writing that. Like although it's rhyming and it's flowing, like that's like coming through me, and I feel that is something very similar here, where your experience is coming through you, if that makes some sense. That they say that this is the non-linear. Yeah, I think that's about it. I've just done boxing. Pretty hungry. Need some food.